Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another gameplay slice, a video with the sole purpose to give you a good understanding of a specific part of a game or the game in general. Today I have for you Old World, where we will start building an empire. This video isn't sponsored in any way, and if you're interested in the game, I will leave a link down below. Old World is made by a studio founded by Soren Johnson, the lead designer of Civilization 4, and you're going to find a lot of similarities. Diving into this game, we can do plenty of things. There's all sorts of options, but I want to mainly show you the main characteristics of this game. So we're going to start up a new game, single player. Here you can choose your leader. There are 7 factions. We've got Assyria, we've got Babylonia, Carthage, Egypt, Greece, Persia, and Rome. All of these factions have their own starting tax, their own unique buildings, their own unique units. We're gonna go with Greece. I like Greece. I also like the Greek mythology in that sense. You can set up a whole bunch of things over here. There's even an advanced setup. There's all sorts of things you can do. I'm not gonna do anything like this. I want to have a pre-made map, exactly. And we're gonna play the old world, because this is a representation of how the world used to be. Alright, there we go. So, we are Greece in the old world. Now, you are going to get a lot of these events. This is quite a story-driven game, you could say, in the sense that there is a lot happening with your family, with yourself as a leader. It just makes for a lot of reading. We're not gonna do most of these readings, so I'm not gonna focus too much on these events, but be aware that there are plenty of them and they actually matter as well. So here they're basically just telling me like, hey, you know, you should get a settler and found our capital. Here we get the map, which might seem very familiar to you. There is just not too much going on right now, but we have a settler. And one of the first things that you might notice is that you are working with city sites. So I can't just found my city everywhere. Like, I can't go over here and found a city. I need to do it on a city site. So I'm gonna found my city and I immediately have to make a choice which of my 4 major families is going to be founding this city over here. For example, this family is good with mines and lumber mills, but I won't have too many of those, I don't think. This is much better with, for example, hurry up projects and money. This is much more suitable for military. So we're gonna, I think, just go with this one. There we go. So we are immediately meeting our first tribe and we get research. So immediately the game throws all sorts of stuff at you. Research is, I think, what you've already known also from other games. This is just your typical tact tree that you can do. You can view the entire tree. This is all of it, and it goes all the way over here. You have a mini version of this as well that is a lot easier to see. However, you kind of need to know what all of these texts are doing. It's not only text, it also unlocks, for example, laws. So if I would start investigating a labor force, it would take me a certain amount of tech or science. It means that I can start building roads between my cities, which helps for trade and other things. It would also unlock slavery and freedom, which is a law that I can pass, which makes for other certain bonuses and also certain problems from time to time. So we're gonna use with trapping here. That means that you can build camps and like catch animals like camels, elephants, other game. You can get fur as a luxury, which is something that your families really like. They want to have luxurious products. It makes them happy. So I've selected the worker here, and with a worker you can do a few things, but mainly you can construct a bunch of buildings. Now, the game suggests that I immediately build the hanging gardens. We're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that we get some basic things set up, like a farm, like a quarry, and like a mine, because that is really important. You need income, you need food, and you need some other stuff. I will be going over all of these resources as we progress through the game. So what we can do over here is we can make a fishing boat. So you move your character and we click on this icon, which is suggested by the game, meaning that we're now going to build fishing nets. and it's gonna take 3 years. And each turn is 1 year. I can click next unit, or I can press tab, I think, to do this. There we go. Then this is my other worker. I can over here make some more income using iron. So I'll be doing that. There we go. Now I have a warrior. You can use your warrior to defend the city, but we're not gonna go to war, most likely. So what I'll do instead is we're gonna attack these barbarians over here and claim this city site for ourselves. You have a few limited things that you can do in terms of movement. What you might expect is that each individual worker or scout or warrior has its own movement points, and they do, but you also have your overall movement points, which is your orders. Meaning that I can only do and spend 10 orders per turn. Meaning that even if I move my warrior over here, which I will do, right, because he needs to end up over there. So I'm gonna put my warrior over here. I am now out of orders. I can't move this scout anymore, even though this scout itself still has like 4 movement points available, right? My scout could have gone somewhere over here. But right now he can't anymore. You need more orders to pull this off. And there are plenty of ways to get more orders. You can get some more buildings. You can influence your families, so they give you more orders. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that sense. Alright. So my wife has been studied. She's becoming an educated person, which means that she's gaining more wisdom, which gives me, for example, more technology, which helps my research. And then this is my son, Alexander. And I can determine for him what he will study. And this will also impact the later game. For example, if you study more charisma, you will have an easier time dealing with diplomacy. If you study philosophy, you can get more wisdom and influence your tech tree much easier. And if you do tactics, you will be much better at warfare, for example. And commerce gives you a bunch of money. Now, money is a good resource to have, so let's start with commerce. It doesn't really matter too much. You can study multiple things if you get more kids. We're gonna take our warrior over here. We're gonna start attacking this village. You can see by the sort of the health bar, the indicator over there, how much damage we will be doing. Now, we will be able to defeat these barbarians in a couple of years. So it's gonna take a little while, but at some point we will have defeated these guys and we can take over this city. I have some orders left, 6 points. So what you can do is go to these places of interest. For example, I could move over here and there will be an event that's going to be triggered. So our scouts report this area is cursed and blighted. Little vegetation grows here and there are no animals to be seen. A foul smell hangs in the air and ghastly moans can be heard throughout the region. At the center of the cursed lands, they discover a deep pit in the ground, which seems to be the source of the moan and stench. Peering over the edge, they can see fires burning deep below the earth. I can do 2 things here, and these are choices that you have to make all the time. I can get more legitimacy, which translates into more orders, which is going to be very useful. So your legitimacy is basically how well you are recognized within the world and within your own families. So if you keep everybody happy, you're going to have a lot of legitimacy. And this directly translates into orders. So you divide this by 10 and that means how many additional orders you're getting. So 4 legitimacy is not bad actually. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna spend some stone and fill the pit with rocks. We have another scout, which we can move over here for yet another event. We can get opinion of the Thracians for 40 years. Meaning for the next 40 years, these guys are going to be happy with me. Or I can loot the whole thing and get a bunch of resources. Now, I'm not going to be needing too many of these resources. And because the Thracians, they're basically my neighbors, we want to keep these guys happy because I don't want them to invade. Especially because I'm not going to focus too much on military. So let's spend a little bit of stone. This is really nothing. And keep the Thracians happy. There we go. Once again, we're out of orders. We will end the year. So we're gonna keep on rocking with our warrior over here. He's gonna get a little bit wounded, but he will definitely survive. And we can heal him up later as well. We're going to do a little bit more exploration with my scout. Some of the other things that you can do is take your scout, and now he is on a tile of sheep. I can harvest these sheep and I can get immediate resources, but it will consume 1 order. Now, still, I don't really have anything else to do with my orders. My warrior already attacked and there's nothing else going on, so I will be doing this. So I'm getting some sheep. They will take some time to respawn, and I can do this with multiple things. For example, I can harvest wine over here, which gives me culture, I think this is. Meaning that my city is going to be a bigger city sooner because I am adding more and more culture. My scout, or this scout at least, he's out of turns. But we can do some more things. We can keep exploring. If you're the first to discover one of these landmarks, you can rename it if you want. And you are recognized as more legitimate. So it is very useful to put your scouts out there in the world and start discovering things, because it means that you will become a more legitimate leader, because you can basically rename these elves right now if you want to. Otherwise, there's not much going on, so we're just going to end the year once again. You can see my warriors being attacked once more. The first thing we're going to do is try and conquer this city, right? So it's one more turn, and then we will be able to defeat the barbarians over there. In the meantime, we are from our town making another settler, which means that we can occupy another town real soon. And afterwards we probably make yet another settler, because we just want to expand as soon as possible here. We're gonna pick up our worker. He is done making the fishing over here. Now we just want to see what else we would like to do. So we can do some more farmlands. We can also make another mine. This will already be a mine though, so that is not super necessary. I think what we want here is a quarry. This is a very good place for quarry. It gives me 14 stone per year, which is just decent. You can see all your resources at the top, and I'll be talking about the resources now that we have a few buildings set up. There are so many different things over here, and each of them is quite important. So money is just, you know, it's just that. It's just money. You can use money to bribe other leaders. You can also use money to buy other resources. And money is also definitely a way to solve a whole bunch of events. Then there is your food. Your food is something that is very important, because you need this to train, for example, settlers, or to train other people in your cities. So if you go into your cities and you want to make, for example, a fisher to man these nets over here, which you can do, this fisher is going to cost you 20 food and 60 civics, which is the hammer. Especially this civics is something that is just, let's say, the town output, or just the output which is used for all sorts of things. It's used to pass laws. It is used to make other decisions. It's also used whenever you want to train specialists. And this is considered a specialist because he's specializing in fishing. This is a fisher. And if you want to make one of these, it's going to cost you 60 civics over 6 years. Which means that right now I have plenty of resources because this is the start of the game and I put it on an easy difficulty. But later down the line, if you have like 10 towns or something, it's not going to be this easy anymore. You need to really carefully manage all of these different resources, because as soon as one of these things is running out, you're going to run into trouble. If you don't have civics, you can't produce any specialists in your towns anymore, and you can't produce a lot of other things too. If you want to train warriors instead, this doesn't cost civics. This costs warfare, I think, or training. Okay, training it's called. You need to spend some production on the training part, and you need to spend a bit of iron to create a warrior. So that is food, and also then we talked about civics and training. There is iron, which is typically used for military, but it's also used for buildings. There is stone, which is primarily used for buildings. And this is a very important resource because later down the line, buildings are gonna get expensive. So you need to get a good stone supply going. There is wood, which you at the start of the game can just walk out and you can just cut some wood from the forest. Later you will have access to lumber mills. This is orders. This is how many you're getting, and you can also see the resource. So I'm getting 10 orders from the difficulty. I'm getting 2.2 from legitimacy. I'm losing orders as well, and I'm getting some orders from one of my families. And then finally you got your research rate. So you can see how much a research costs to research. Trapping costs 80, and I'm getting 16.8 research per year. Luxuries we will not have for a considerable time, so this is not really useful right now. One final thing when it comes to resources is that your town has once again different resources. There are 3 things in your town that you need to worry about. There's growth, which is something that matters quite a bit, because if you don't produce growth, at the end of this line you get 1 citizen, and you need these citizens in order to train specialists, because if you don't have a person available, you cannot have a specialist. So this fisher costs one citizen, as you can see, right? It costs 1 citizen, it costs 20 food and 60 civics. So this already makes it quite complicated. You need to have all 3 of these resources available, and you need to take everything into account. If you don't produce any buildings that create citizens, and I have 1 right now, right? These nets, they create some citizens, or they create growth, 2 per year, meaning that it's going to take me 50 years to get the next citizen. Which, that's a long time. There's also culture. Culture is it's the culture of the city. And the more of this you have, the better and bigger your city gets. And you get some additional bonuses for it. And there is discontent. And discontent is going to rise, typically speaking, unless you get much further into the game. And your citizens become more and more unhappy, unless you give them the things they want, such as a warm and a cold bath, or entertainment like a theater, or other specialists that can entertain the mobs. Then your discontent is going down, but at the early stages, people are not happy because you founded a city and there's nothing else for these guys to do. All of these things combined make that is already at the very start of the game quite complicated. And then we've only scratched the surface, honestly. Because there are so many different other things going on. For example, later down the line, you can assign governors, which have a distinct impact on each town. We will be able to defeat the barbarians. So we're getting some stone for this, and we're getting some experience. And I will just stand by over here until I have a settler, so I can found an additional city. Alright, we completed our first technology, meaning that we can do the next one. We're gonna take the one that takes the shortest here. So we're gonna take a granary for 5 years. We created new settlers, which is great. We're gonna build another settler soon. But what you typically can do is you just press tab, and it cycles through all the relevant people and cities for you. So here we have my warrior. My warrior basically defeated the city side over here. He defeated the barbarians. Right now we can just chill out a little bit. We don't need to do too much. I will actually add a general to this, meaning that I can add a general so this troop simply becomes stronger. So we're gonna assign Prince Alexander here. He's only 18 years old, but it allows me to heal in neutral territory. And this is neutral territory. So I will assign him to the troop. I don't think I can promote right now, no, because I just assigned a general. He is now on cooldown, so I need to wait another year. So here we have our settler. We can just immediately go walk over here. We don't have enough points. There is one thing that you can do. That's a force march unit. I can force march the unit spending 100 training, and then I can basically, as long as I have enough orders, I can move all the way over here, and I think that's worth it. So we're gonna be over here, and we're gonna found another city. Now we got a Seleucid family city already, so we're gonna do another one. For example, this one. I think the one with the mines and lumber mills, actually, because that's what's gonna happen here. rather sooner than later, you want to get like a worker over here and also start working the land so that each individual city actually has their own resources available. But right now, let's go for a settler because I want to expand my empire because there's at least 2 more city sites that we can occupy. It's over here, it's over here. My scouts aren't gonna do anything this turn because I am out of orders. So getting your orders up at the start of the game is quite useful because it allows you to undertake much more in that sense. Alright, we have started a new ambition. Ambitions are goals or legacies that will allow you to win the game. If I have 10 successful ambitions, I will be victorious in this game. And these ambitions, they range from, controlling 4 cities, which I have to do next, to killing a bunch of units, to building a wonder, because you can build the wonders of the world, right? I can build the Hanging Gardens or the Oracle, for example. You can do all of these different things, and they will be given to you either out of your own volition, or they will be given to you by your family. Which is a good moment, I think, to talk a little bit about family, because we have a few more things to talk about, a few more things to show you, making the game even a little bit more complicated. What we have going on here is the court members, and it's not only the court members, there's a whole bunch of characters. There's only like about 10 right now, but imagine being 30 years into the game, this is going to be a massive list. What you need to do is, first of all, keep these people happy. Prince Alexander, he is not happy right now. He's upset actually with me because I've made some decisions that he didn't like. So you can marry off your successors to either foreign states or to tribes or to your other family. All of these decisions are impactful. If you marry your prince, which is the heir to the throne, to Rome, for example, you can do that, and they will like you for it. Rome appreciates you marrying their princess to a prince of yours. And the same is true for this person. Now, she's only 4 years old, so you have less options, of course. But she will come of age at some point, and then you can marry her off to someone as well. And this is something that you really need to keep track of, because if you completely disregard this whole family system, you are gonna be in big trouble, because these guys are gonna give you a very, very hard time. You can make these guys the governors of your cities, you can make these guys later down the line, you can make them an ambassador. This is a person that's gonna go into foreign nations and do a whole lot of trading and negotiating. You can make them a chancellor who is going to be able to do much more with religion and whatnot. And you can make them a spy master, which means that you can set up an agent network, you can spy into other cities and see what these people are doing. Very important, but ideally you have the right perks for this. So you need to think about who you're gonna put in which position and whatnot, but first of all you need to make sure that these people are actually liking you, because the more they like you, the more favorable decisions and events are gonna come your way, and the more legitimacy and therefore the more orders you can provide. Now we're getting a marriage offer. I was just talking about marrying off your own prince. This is typically not necessarily something I would like to do, not to a Thracian tribe at least, because this is gonna be not well received by your own family. They want to marry the prince, and it's probably more important to keep your own families first and keep them happy first, and then deal with the Thracians later. You can always try to go to war with the Thracians and then get your allies to back you up and something like that. So we're not gonna do it this time, but it does mean that they will think less of me. So I'm gonna get minus 20 opinion for 20 years. Now the good thing is I already had a positive opinion with them from another event, because I restored their ancient, whatever it was, to its original state. So they like me a lot for that. So we can deny, but it might not be a bad idea to simply, where are we? Start marrying this guy to a family. You can see how they like you. They're both cautious, so it doesn't really matter which one we do. But you can see this also costs civic, right? It's the hammer, the yellow hammer, and it costs orders. So everything in this game has a cost, And you really need to manage your resources properly in that sense. So it's gonna take 1 year to find a suitable candidate, seems reasonable. We're going to be healing up our warrior. There we go. We're gonna harvest some sheep and then I think we're gonna get out of there. My scout at this moment in time is not able to cross the water yet. He will be able to cross the water later, but right now he can't. So we have actually found a suitable wife in the Seleucid family. You can hover over these portraits to see if there's something that you like particularly. This matters, of course, depending a little bit on what you want to do, but we're just gonna pick one here. Meaning that there will be a marriage soon, and they will, in the family tree, start being married, and they will at some point also get kids, at least most of the time. What I have done now is loaded an old save. I was actually victorious in this playthrough. This just happened. And what you can see is basically what happens if you play out this game for about 8 hours, I would say. I think it took me around 8 hours to do all of this. And you get, I think, a much better idea about the end state of the game and what this would look like if you play, let's say, one single playthrough for around 8 hours. I've got a lot more resources because I've got a lot more cities as well. You see a bunch of military, you see a bunch of other stuff happening. But this is roughly, you could say, the end state, which I just wanted to show you. So I have everything assigned over here as well. Right, I have my ambassador, my chancellor, my spy master. I can issue all sorts of commands via these people. And if you go to the overview of my cities, you can see that I have placed a governor in each and every city. And you can manage most of the things from over here, if that is what you please. You see that religions are becoming quite a big part, and you see that, for example, one city has 4 religions going on right now. Now, this does not make people happy typically if there's this many religions in a single city. So this might be something you want to do something about. For example, if you look at the research, all the laws that are being passed, and I think all the research is actually being done. No, this, or almost all of it. Yeah, almost all of the research I actually completed. I hope that once again you have a decent understanding of what type of game this is and what you would be doing. And I'm sure that if you are into games like this, then you will be enthusiastic about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that's always much appreciated, especially if you like content like this, so the YouTube algorithm will try to recommend it to other viewers as well, and we can grow the channel a little bit. That would be nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for making it to the end. I love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.